Hey, good to see you guys. Once again, feels like a long time since I took yesterday off, but it was a much needed break. I spent some time with Mark and his family and just had a good time, had a nice lunch and everything. So, I'm going to kind of read or discuss a short thing that I've prepared about today's subject, which is leaving a toxic YouTube community. That could also be any kind of a community, especially an online community. And, it could be YouTube, it could be, Facebook, it could any place where you have gathered together and created a community. And sometimes those communities, things happen and they go bad. And so, we're gonna talk a little bit about that. I'm gonna talk just a minute, and then I'm gonna bring on Hamina. She's got a little something prepared too, and then we're just gonna just chat and chat with you, and feel free to ask questions and we will try to get to those or your comments or whatever. And, we'll just see where this goes. So, anyway, again, welcome to those of you that are coming over from Jimenez channel. Welcome to you. Um, we're excited to see everybody. My mods will be placing some links to different channels that we think may be good places for people to kind of congregate. Of course, you're always welcome here. We do have a new motto that is together we thrive, not just survive. And so we do still cover Scientology and cults and all the high control stuff and, funny stuff, sad stuff. We cover it all. But we're trying to do it in a place that is safe for everybody to come to and share if you want to share and not if you don't. So anyway, I'm gonna I'm gonna go ahead and get started. And so most of us do come from communities, maybe we started with a different community. And I'm not just talking about the obvious, kind of the elephants in the room with it either being, relatable Reese. It's hard to say unrelatable Reese, but or the lifeboat, which I tend to call the lie boat. But not just those. There's other communities out there, and I don't wanna direct you to those because I don't want you to go get stuck in communities that are bad. But whenever I was researching this, it is shocking how many YouTube and Facebook and all that communities go from being something very helpful to something very not helpful. And so that's kinda what made me start wanting to do this. It's not just about talking about, you know, Tommy and Reese. You're welcome to talk about them. Of course, we're welcome to talk about whatever here, but this isn't really about them, not actually. It's about things that happen in just, you know, communities that end up being bad for someone. So, in communities, you know, we want to enjoy it. It needs to be fun. It needs to be entertaining. It can teach you things, of course, but we don't want to just sit and preach to you. We want it to be in a fun and entertaining way. And we want you to feel cared for. And we want you to even feel loved and that you can love your community. I believe that that's possible in online communities. I don't believe that it's strictly the dreaded parasocial relationships, which I hate that, but I believe that it can be more. But you've gotta be careful, and we're gonna talk about that today. But we want you to be able to find communities, whether it's here or somewhere else, where you feel those things. You feel like you're having a good time. You feel cared for, and you care about the people there, and they care about you. We want you to be understood. We want you to share values, share struggles, all of that. And a lot of these places that turn kinda toxic are great for a while, but then stuff starts happening, and you start getting that feeling like, "I don't know, this doesn't feel right." And we just want you to know that that's okay. It is absolutely okay. You may feel that way about this channel sometime, that maybe it's not right for you. That doesn't mean something's wrong with you. It doesn't even necessarily mean something's wrong with this channel. Sometimes it does, but not always. Maybe sometimes things just aren't a good fit. We all aren't for everyone. as we've been told often. But that doesn't have to mean that you are wrong or that I am wrong. It could just mean it's not the fit, but it can also mean that places are toxic. And you need to be able to learn to watch for those signs. And that's what we want to help you a bit with today. So when a safe place stops feeling safe, maybe the creator's mask slipped a little bit and you saw that they're not who they pretended to be. Maybe the place gets clingy, even culty, just toxic. It doesn't feel good anymore. Are you feeling judged, used, or even just unseen? Those are not good things either. Many of us just leave those kind of places. We kind of sit back and we lick our wounds and we're afraid to share again. But that's not good either. It's not good to always just assume that you're the one at fault. Sometimes it really is someone else. Sometimes it's not a good fit, but sometimes it's toxic. And we're going to talk to you today. My dog is driving me crazy, sorry. About some of those in ways that we can guard ourselves. And we're going to try to talk about how to learn to trust again. And I just want you to remember that there's no rush to trusting. You don't have to hurry. There's no timeline. You can lurk, you can, visit different channels and see how the creator fits with you. See how their chat create, how they connect with you. Is it people you trust? Is it people you know? Do you share the same issues, the same joys, whatever? I mean, because it's not just all about bad stuff. Not every online community is the same, and they're not all good, but they're not all bad. Sometimes smaller spaces can be better especially when we're healing. Sometimes it's nicer because you do get more of a chance to feel seen and heard. But you get to define how fast you go. If you go into a community and a creator immediately says, "I wanna know about your story." Now, maybe they really do wanna know because I ask people all the time, "Do you wanna come on and talk about your story?" But I tell them, "At your pace, when you want to, and if you never want to, that's fine too." But if they start pushing for that, that's a red flag. Just remember your gut matters. If it feels off, it's off. You know, you might not just want to jump and just assume that it's bad, but pay attention to your gut. Talk about your troubles with trusting communities because we don't have to suffer or heal in silence. We can write in journals, we can talk to friends, we can talk to other people in the chat, we can talk to the creators. If people aren't open to that, that's not a place for you. It really isn't. And just remember that wanting a connection is normal. It is how we're built. We're not built to walk alone. If you're a believer, as I am, and if you're not, that's fine. But one of the key things is that we believe that God created Adam, but Adam needed a companion. So he created Eve. Now, that says a lot right there, I think, that the animals and the trees and the flowers and all that might have been great, but Adam needed a companion. We all need companions. And so it is fine to look for them online, but don't exclude your real life, your personal connections and just stay online. Because if you don't have any outside connections, just about any online connection is going to turn toxic really fast. So that's kind of what I wanted to share. And I'm going to bring on Jimena, and she's got something to share. And then we're just going to combine the two and talk. And if you all have questions or comments, we want to hear them. This is a good time to just get to know each other and talk about it. And it's safe here. We are absolutely safe here. So I'm gonna bring Jimena on.
Hi,
Hello.
how are you?
I'm doing
Um,
good. How are you? I see lots of
I'm
people
good.
here from your channel.
Yeah, there's a lot of people here. Thank you. um, so my daughter's home, so I apologize. I didn't have anyone to help me with her. She's
Oh, yeah. That's
so
fine.
uh,
Hey,
but yeah,
we are moms and grandmas first.
I
That's just
know.
how it is.
So thank you for inviting me. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here again. And I think it was important for me to talk about this because we all come, like you said, from communities and have been having some, I don't know, ways of working that are becoming toxic or were toxic since the beginning. And for me,
Mm,
it's important to raise awareness in that and how we can fall into these communities and get into patterns we don't want in our lives, because it's easy to get like sucked in the how communities work, right? So I
absolutely.
wanted to talk in a more general way in terms of when people are going to these communities, any community, even mine. Like you can go and just have watch, observe, see what you're seeing, and um, decide for yourself whether it's something that belongs, like you can belong to or not. So that's something.
Mhm.
So I wanted to raise awareness about red flags that we have in the communities so we can understand the patterns and maybe detect them easily. Like when you're in a relationship, any relationship, you should be aware of the red flags. So that
Absolutely.
comes also with groups, right? So
Mhm.
the first thing that I wanted to talk about is how, like, how the dynamics of toxic communities work, because toxic communities are not always obvious at the beginning. It's something that when you get there, it's not really obvious when you're there. They can start feeling safe and exciting, even
Mm,
they seem life changing sometimes. And over time, there's certain patterns that begin to emerge, and they start damaging your well-being and your sense of self and your connection with the truth. So I think that's when you start um, having issues and feeling, or at least having that your self-worth is being attacked at some point or being diminished, or you start feeling uneasy. So many toxic communities are just, for example, built around one or a few like charismatic figures,
mhm.
who are seen as they're infallible, that they don't make any mistakes, that they are perfect, they are wonderful, they have like their lives solved, or they've been very hurt in the past. So it's like you feel like sorry for them and you want to be there for them because they need now love, and like you think you're saving them. They're very charismatic and they can be confused with like maybe wise, or they have a moral of authority, or they are just being very captivating. But by being captivating or charming, that doesn't mean they are safe. That doesn't mean they are ethical. So it's when we start to have to question some of the things. So when you have a healthy leadership, or you are in a community that is healthy, the leader is going to allow disagreement. It's not a fight. It's just it's going to. We can
Yes.
agree to disagree. We're all human beings. We're allowed to our opinions as long as you're respectful. I think there shouldn't be a problem, right? So a toxic leadership thrives on control and admiration and loyalty without question. So that's when you start, like when you're in a group that you are not able to ask any questions, then you need to start questioning, like, is this healthy? Because I think normally we should be able to question things. Um,
Absolutely.
so you have to ask yourself, are people following this person because of their ideas or because of how they are perceived? Because that's also something, that they are perceived because of their all these like godly figure, or is it really because they are authentic, right? So if
Mhm.
you're in a toxic group where disagreement is seen as betrayal or negativity or drama,
Mhm.
or like people start speaking up and then these people are feeling isolated, or they are labeled as toxic, or that they are jealous, or they are not a good fit, then you have to question yourself, do I fit in? Because if you are, as long as you are saying you're being respectful, you're just expressing a concern, and you're treated like an outsider, then that's not healthy. Then you're
Absolutely.
not in a healthy, because this is like the group thinking that it's not okay. Because a healthy community, like in my experience, needs to encourage thoughtful dialogue and feedback and growth, even when it's uncomfortable. So, because if people come to me and give me feedback, and even if I'm uncomfortable with the feedback, I might like, okay, they have a point. I can um, understand what they're saying, even if I don't agree with it. But that won't make me expel someone just because they don't agree. Like it's
Mhm.
so that's where I think we need to start understanding where we're coming from. because toxic communities rely on like they rely on the silence to maintain the dynamics of power they have. And we've seen this in the communities that we come from. Like there's this
Mhm.
like power figure, and this
Yes.
person is seen like the like, oh my god, they're like godly, and we are not able to question anything this person does because then we are in sin, right? So they teach people to suppress their inner truth. Even when they see the red flags, they're like, no, I can't see this. And it happened to me. It happened to me. Like I was seeing red flags and I was saying, okay, this is not okay. Like what I'm seeing is toxic, but I can say anything because if not, I'm going to get expelled. And I'm part of a group where I have friends, so I don't want to miss this thing because I want to be part of a group. So then you start performing in
Mhm.
order to belong to a group. So you may feel pressure to belong to that group, um, and I don't know. You start editing yourself when you're talking because you don't want to get judged by this person or the group,
Yeah.
and then you start to feel excluded, and so you don't have like you don't feel authentic. I think at least that's not how I felt in part of these communities. Like whenever I started questioning something or I said something that people didn't agree with, then it's like, why are you asking these questions? And you start getting some backlash, and then you say, okay, I'm going to stay quiet, and then you are careful. Who can I talk to? Because then I'm going to be maybe
Mhm.
I'm going to be losing my friends. That's not healthy ever. Like in any group, it's not okay. Um,
No, it's
so
not.
you need to be aware of the rules that your group has. That if they demand you to not be yourself, then there's something that it's not okay. And they use language that it's very toxic, that it's positive language to excuse their
Mhm.
behavior. So it's like you're being triggered because you haven't healed, right? Like they use like they
Mhm.
excuse their behavior because you were triggered. So they are allowed to do their toxic behavior, but you're the one with the problem. Or maybe you're not ready to receive a lesson. And it happens a lot in spirituality communities, like communities from where I do
Yeah.
my niche. You can see that they use toxic positivity and healing as a weapon sometimes, and it
Yeah.
gets very dangerous. Um, or people say like we don't like low vibrational people here. It's just you're very toxic and negative. We don't want you here. So these phrases are used to shut down people and shut down
Mhm.
people with valid concerns. So when you're questioning and then they tell you you're very negative, we don't need you here,
Mhm.
and you're too
Oh, yeah.
emotional, that's a problem. um, and then like you have the false gurus, like they only they can help you. There's no one else like them. Like all of
Mhm.
these are, I don't know. It's just this dynamic is complicated. So then when you leave these groups, there's actually a sense of grief that then you
Yes.
don't belong somewhere, and you're living a toxic relationship. You're living a toxic group, and it's really real and it's really hurtful. And that's also something that we need. Like I wanted to touch base on that because it's complicated when you leave a group like this. And yeah, so you stay in toxic communities because you feel that you invested money, you invested time, you invested like you invested into relationships, so you are feared to start over in another group. You think that you're not going to find another
Absolutely.
group that accepts you, or like maybe when you're from the outside. When I left, I was like, it was very obvious that I was not going to lose anything if I left the toxic community, but still
Mhm.
I felt a lot of grief. So
Yeah.
I think you, and also you can't force people to leave the groups also, because that's also something that I've encountered. I have a lot of friends that still were part of these communities, and I didn't want to make them leave. I wanted to make them leave, but I couldn't because it's like I have to respect their choice to be there without shaming them, because that's their choice. And
Exactly.
so it's, yeah. So this is like at least what I wanted to talk about. Yeah.
Mhm. Oh, yeah. I think you're right on, I really do. I really do.
Yeah. So
I'm throwing a few questions, so
okay. Yeah, but it's very complicated because these group dynamics, where you're there and you want to be part of that, I think becomes
Mhm.
where the power of these groups is there.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
oh, that's
Decorate the
from a
home.
challenge on my channel. Well, not my channel. We Gen X. He's on my channel. We were in
Yeah,
part of a channel that it's Are You Locked In, and we did a 30-day video challenge. And she's from that channel. She's actually doing the channel. She's very good.
yeah.
Decorate with us.
And the thing is that sometimes these channels or these communities that we go to, they don't even have to be about healing from something.
No,
It can
no.
be just somewhere where that you go for fun. It really
It
can.
happens in true crime, in politics, in religion, in like even in crocheting. There's
Yeah,
toxicity in all of these communities. Even you can go to
yeah,
maybe a crocheting channel, for example, in the case of YouTube, and this person is like regarded as the best crocheting person in the world, and she has all the answers and all the
absolutely.
techniques. And that's where they're like the jealousy like starts happening, and then the toxicity, and like I'm the one who has the I don't know, like the control in the truth, and like I'm the only
Mhm,
one who knows better. And like, if you don't agree
mhm.
with me, then you can leave. Like that happens everywhere. It's not just
Oh,
healing.
yeah.
It's not just yeah. So it's
Absolutely. Absolutely. It
especially in
doesn't
big
have to be
groups.
somewhere. Yeah, especially big groups. I don't
Yeah,
know what the dynamic becomes in such a big group. I think it's just easier to kind of hide behind some of that, from some of the toxicity because there's so many people and so many conversations and everything going on that sometimes it just makes it a little bit easier. I do have some stuff starred. I wanted to go over those real quick. I
hmm,
kinda like to go to the chat and go through some of the starred stuff and then talk more, and I think a lot of the stuff
I
that's starred
agree.
leads to more conversations too.
Hmm.
So, Tommy Stig Social Club says, "Hello, Hamina." Hold on, I'm
Yeah,
trying
some mistakes. He's
my
wonderful.
mouse is
He
yeah.
has a wonderful channel. Yeah, he's a very fun channel. I follow him every morning and every afternoon. So yeah.
And I do wanna say before we get too far into the live, if any of you do have, channels, if you will go to th to the comments after the live and just, put in there, say something about, "Hey, come check out my channel," or you could put a link if you want, but all you have to really do is just mention it, and if people click on your picture, it will take them straight to your channel, and so, we'll try to put some of them up. I try to get those my mods, they look for everybody's channels and try to get those put up, but if we miss somebody, you can absolutely do that, and
Well, if
share,
you want to have
especially if it's
fun,
safe
here's a show
channels.
of nothing. Tommy Sticks is wonderful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's you can laugh. I start my day laughing with him every single morning.
Oh,
I think he goes 7 a.m. Eastern.
oh,
I'm sorry, my
well,
daughter is screaming. I have 1 second.
that's fine, that's fine. I'm gonna go ahead and hit a couple of these as we go. Um, Doing it Deb's way, safe is good, absolutely. You are absolutely right. No matter what we're talking about, there should be no there really should be no unsafe spaces. They should be the ones that are we shouldn't have to prove that we're safe. They should have to prove why they're not safe. Why are they being unsafe? Because that should be the problem. And so, you know,
And I
I
think
don't
that's
know.
why I
It's
wanted to talk about the red flags, because then
yes.
like normally you go in a community and you feel it's trust, like you can trust it because you see people interacting, they're having fun, like
Mhm.
everything's going okay. But there's red flags that like when you go in a relationship with someone, there's things that you need to be aware of, and signs that let you know that okay, this is not a safe space. I'm not able to voice
Yes.
my opinion. People are going to judge me, they're making fun of me if I think different. Like those type of things are complicated.
Mhm. She's fine. Yeah, and like as in a relationship, the sooner that you find out that a place is not for you, the better. The sooner that
Exactly.
you find out that this is toxic, or at least it's toxic for me, and get out, the better, because the longer you stay, the more it hurts. Same with relationships. It's
Yeah,
absolutely the same. So here is another
exactly.
one. Decorate with
Yeah,
from your
thank you.
channel. I finally made it to a live while it was live. We get a lot of those too. We get a lot of the people that are like, "Oh, I'm late," or "I can't make that time," and, it's just
And I took a pause for my channel, so I haven't been going live. I normally go live every day, but my life has been crazy lately, so I took a pause. And
yeah,
so yeah, so they've been missing lives.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Aw, this one's sweet too. Chris 10M, good to see you. I love when you're here. How can anyone not love Susie and Jimena? Two of the brightest and kindest ladies on YouTube. Hugs to you both. Well, thank you. I think that we both strive to be kind. We're not soft. We'll fight back and bite if we have to, right? But we also try to be kind and try to be safe places, and I can tell you from experience that Jimena's channel is a safe place to go.
Oh,
I
thank you.
absolutely love it there. You know, she's
Thank
amazing.
you. Thank you,
I
Sissy.
mean that. I absolutely mean it.
Thank you so much. I
So, my one of my mods says that she's in the middle of a video, but she'll be popping in and out, and she wants to send love to you and me, so that's so kind. This one's from
Hi.
yours. She says, "I'm just a little bit late."
It's just she's always late and graciously late. So she
Yeah.
always says that. Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. Decorate with Us says, "You're so welcome, and I'm happy to be here." Well, we are both happy to have you. Okay. Says, "Yes, I think that's True Clear Media is one such place. It's on Reddit. Blue Ridge Speaks is a very toxic individual, even if you have been a supporting member since the page began, all of a sudden turned on many and has a tattoo complex." Yeah, absolutely. I know what you're talking about there. Yeah, this True Clear Media on Reddit, and a lot of us go there because they cover a lot of stuff about uh, Relatable Reese and the Lifeboat, and so a lot of us are coming from those channels. Like I said, the elephant in the room, right? So, we go there, but if you have to like everybody that they like, but it's okay for them to hate people that you like. And if they don't like who you like, then they boot you. And so now you even have to sign, like you have to fill out some kind of a questionnaire just to be able to look at the content now. It's like crazy, very
Well,
cultish, scary
yeah.
to me.
I I think I respect whatever she wanna takes her like channel because that's her channel. So the way she wants to do it, it's just
Yeah.
um I'm not gonna talk about because I have a good relationship with her in terms of like outside
Yeah.
Reddit and all. We've
Yeah. I
emailed and
understand
all.
that.
So I don't
Just
want to
be
talk about
careful.
that. And no, it's I don't like conflicts with any person. So I'm just gonna say that
Uh-huh.
here. So and not with them, not with anyone. So I'm just
Yeah.
stay on my lane.
No, that's
So
absolutely
I
fine.
respect that. Yeah.
That's, like what I said, that maybe a place is toxic for me, but it's not for you kind of a thing, you know? And
And I
that could
think I
absolutely.
we can agree to disagree. Like, for example, I don't
Mhm.
agree with a lot of things she says. She cannot agree with things that I say. But as long as we're respectful, at least for me, I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah, I think more of not as black and white. I think there's a lot of gray scales that we need to move on with. But yeah,
Yeah. Totally understand. Says, Jimena, thank you for being you. Thank you for being kind and caring always. You are amazing. She is amazing, guys. Absolutely. She's absolutely one of my favorite people to talk to. So, yes, Tommy Stig says outside interactions are so important. That's another thing that I really, really want to stress is that if you're in a community that you are so tied up with them that you start not having time for outside interactions, you don't have the time to spend with family or friends or just on your own, doing your own thing. That's definitely something that you need to watch for. While it's fine to, be deeply involved in a community, even a healthy community can get a little bit too much. And we need to
and that's
understand
the
that you
thing.
don't have to be there every time. You don't have to
No,
be
and
there
you don't
every
have to be
time they
part
go
of the
live.
discussions.
Yeah.
And I think that's a problem with Reddit, and that's why I stopped going there and I stopped going to all of these things. Like I really, if they have personal things against me, whatever, I don't care. I'm just like I don't get polarized. You're allowed to your
Mhm.
opinions. Respect mine.
Mhm.
We can agree to disagree. If you don't like me, then you don't go. You don't come see me, and then I move on. You don't want me there. I won't be there. Just
Yeah.
let's be adults here. We don't have to be fighting. We don't have to be attacking each other. Let's just stay your lane. I'll say mine. Let's
Mhm.
continue. And if you don't like me, then we move on. I don't. You don't need to announce me either if you don't like me anymore. Like You don't like me, just stop talking to me, block me, whatever. I don't really care. Like
Yeah.
I don't need to give you my energy anymore. If you don't like me
Mhm.
there, I'm not gonna give you my energy. So that's what I'm like. That's the way that I operate normally.
Mhm.
So as long as people are respectful to me, then I'll be okay. But if they're not, then
Absolutely.
I'm gonna I'm gonna
Absolutely.
react. But I'm gonna say this is where
Absolutely.
like leave. Yeah.
And that goes along with what I was saying too about that if they don't respect that you can't be there every time they go live or every time they do a video, then that's not good. They need to understand that you have your boundaries too, that maybe you don't agree with this topic that they're talking about, so you don't interact with that. Or maybe, you know, you don't wanna hear about this discussion or whatever, so you don't go there that day. It should be fine to be parts of communities, but not have to be in that community every single time. I know myself as a creator, I'm trying to do a variety of different shows, and I know that some of them are not gonna be for everybody, like, they're not gonna like, even this one, some people have never been in any kind of a toxic online community, so this one's not really that important to them, and that's good and fine. Some people don't understand all the stuff that I do about Scientology, and that's fine. But maybe
Yeah.
the next show I do, whatever it is, like, I'm gonna be on Wednesday with Dusty Soda Dispenser, and they may just be, like, a crazy fan of his shows and his humor. He's hilarious and just a good guy. And so, maybe they show up for that one. And the thing is we have to remember that when you're in a community, it should always be okay to not be in the community 24/7. You shouldn't have to or
Plus,
that community.
it's okay to. It's like with politics, like whether you are in a like belong to a party or not. Like if you're not with me, you're against me. I
Yeah,
don't think that should be the case. I think
I
we are
don't
allowed
either.
to have different opinions on different topics, and just as long as like I said, it's always with respect. So
Mhm.
if you voice to me your opinion, but you're not respectful, I'm gonna just set a boundary and
Mhm.
move on. I'm not gonna be there. But we should be allowed to disagree. At least that's what I'm trying to do with my channel. At least that people can go and talk and be safe. And if there's behaviors like people attacking people or disrespecting people, then I will set a boundary and say, no, this is not allowed here. But it's not about, I know, for example, the topics that I cover are like hippy dippy. People sometimes don't like them. So, and I'm used to getting attacked a lot because of that. So I'm not
Yeah, which is so
disrespected.
sad.
But it's okay. Like if you cannot believe in what I believe, but that doesn't make us enemies. I don't know why. Then if I don't think like you, I'm instantly your enemy. That's a problem. That's toxic, I think, in my opinion. We should be allowed to
That
have
is toxic.
a healthy debate about something
Or
and just
just move on.
or
If you
just move
don't
on.
wanna debate
Yeah.
it, just move on. Like, I love your hippy dippy stuff. I love it.
Well,
But,
thank you.
I don't know if I 100% believe it, but I don't 100% not. I'm kind of just interested, and I find it so interesting, and I find it like it's a possibility, and I just think that the world is full of possibilities, and I don't just write something off because it's not what I grew up with or whatever. But if I thought that this is, horrible stuff, I would just not watch, I
And
would
that's the thing. Like the other day, I was talking to someone. It's like you have the power in your hand. You can just scroll up. Like you don't have to continue watching. You can change the channel. Like you don't have to
yeah.
stay where you don't like it. Like why? What's the need of people just spread hate? Like just
Mhm.
hating on anyone that they see because they don't agree with them. Like you're allowed to have your opinion. So
Mhm.
like
Like, I wonder
whatever.
if just
Just
people like, if they're watching TV in the evening and they're, like, scrolling through the, deal trying to see what's on and they wanna watch, if they scroll past, a show and they go, "No, I don't wanna watch that," and they scroll past 3 or 4 and it's, "No, I don't wanna watch that," and then they find one they want, right? Do they go and seek out the people that, make these other 3 or 4 shows or, whatever? Do they go online and, like, insult these shows or try to tear them down? No. I mean, so it's just like scroll on. Now, that's different than if you've been in a community where you've been hurt or that you feel is toxic. It is also okay to talk about that. But if we're just like having a disagreement, just scroll on. Watch the next day or don't. It's
Yeah.
just be kind. Just there's no harm in just trying to be kind. There's also no harm in standing up for yourself, but,
No,
just
it's
don't
not.
be toxic about it. Here's a good one, and I agree with this 100%. You never have to apologize for having your daughter with you. Absolutely. No, you never have to apologize. Family should always, 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 always come first.
Well,
If I'm on
she does.
air, you know, I have shows going on all the time, some of which absolutely are not for little ears kinda deal. And my granddaughter will walk in, Veta will walk in the middle of it, and I will take a second and explain to her, "Grandma's online, I'm doing my show, blah, blah, blah." But if she has something that she needs to say to me, she's gonna get that minute to say it. The same with my husband, and it should be the same for you. It should be the same for any of us. If we
Yeah,
need
because
to
we're
take
living life in front of the camera right now. So yeah.
absolutely. And I mean, family's first. Family always, always, always comes first. I'm gonna pop this one up there. Dusty Soda Dispenser saying hello to everyone. He will be here
Hi.
Wednesday to visit with us. I like this one too. Sign the petition, savethegarden.org. Dusty will be here Wednesday to talk about that and explain everything that's going on about it. We did talk about it a little bit last Wednesday with Farrell Cheryl. If you didn't watch that live, you might go check that out. They have both have good, completely non-toxic shows if you wanna watch shows that deal a lot with the, anti-Scientology movement. They have great shows, usually just a lot of fun and goofing off, and it's just they're great. They are great people, so that's 2 more channels I recommend highly. So, yeah, here's another one. If the streamer isn't willing to answer the hard questions, in my opinion, it is not a safe place. Absolutely. Now, granted, I don't think that we should be able to know every single thing about that person's life any more than they should know every single thing about yours. But, if you want to say, this feels bad to me, can you explain how I'm seeing it wrong? How I'm taking this wrong? This feels like you're begging for money. This feels like you're making excuses for, drug use or, whatever whatever it may be. There's, like, as many topics as I could come up with. There's more than that as far as, you know, things that they could be talking about. But if they're not
Mhm.
willing to answer the hard questions that pertain to that channel, it absolutely is not safe. And that should be a major red flag.
It is. Yeah, I
So,
think we should be able to answer any questions as long as it not gets personal, like you said. Like if they don't get personal about my daughter or my son, like I'm not gonna tell anyone about my daughter, right?
yeah.
But if they're asking about my channel, about the things, like I'm transparent. Like you can ask, I can tell you.
Mhm.
Like I don't have anything to hide. Um, I don't like manipulation either. So when I see
Yeah, I
someone who
don't
is
either.
manipulating using like strategies to like actual like fake tragedies to like exploit things, and then you see them, I don't know, spending money on a cruise or spending money on like this and that, and like but they are like saying I'm not able to afford electricity, then okay, there's an issue there.
Yeah,
You're manipulating. Then you have some money for some things, but you don't have money for your health or your like whatever. So that's where I have a problem. That,
me
but
too.
you don't have to explain everything. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Since
it's
from your channel, Jin Marie, good to see you. Please take care of yourself. If this is too difficult of a topic, then, please come back to either one of our channels a different day. But we are striving to be a safe place here. So if you want to hang around, then that's great. Mm, So it can be very difficult. I understand that. And I knew
it
when we
is.
started this, it would be difficult for some
Just
people.
because we've been like part of, at least I was part of both, like the two communities, like the elephant in the room, like you said. So like I was part of both, And like there was a lot of there's a lot of polarization among the members. It's like also that's not okay. That's not healthy. Like we can like for example, I left the channel safe like very quietly, and now
Mhm.
I received a lot of hate, and then I like when I stood up, I'm like more hate. I'm like okay, so I'm just standing up for myself.
Yeah.
I'm saying what I want to say, and that's all. I'm not gonna be perpetuating this conversation, but it doesn't need to be this polarized. Like you can
Yeah.
like her, I can not like her, and we could still be friends. You don't want that? Fine, that's on
Absolutely.
you. Okay, and we
Absolutely.
don't have to be friends with the same people all the time. Like again, this is getting very cultish, I think, and that's the problem when it's this polarized in any
Yes.
situation.
Absolutely. And it's normal for us, I think, to kind of go back to those 2 channels because that's our experience. But the people that are watching, they may have other channels that they've experienced that kind of thing with, and this may mean something completely different to them than it does to us. And again, we're not just talking about, Tommy or Reese, but if we
Yeah,
do revert back to them, it's because that's where our experience is. That's
but
where
I've seen it in
for
other
us.
communities too. Like
Oh, I
I'm in
have
another
too.
community now, and I see other things, and there's drama there too, and there's a lot of conflict. And
Mhm.
there's people who like to have these drama and provoking people and questioning. And there's a
Mhm.
lot of toxicity around like the internet. I think like YouTube just concentrates a lot of drama people in the same places.
Yeah.
But it's
You'd
so
be
that's why I
shocked
want
at the drama.
and we need to protect our energy because I didn't know that YouTube could be draining for like your mental health actually, or like it can hurt you, or you should like you were gonna grieve a community. I grieved that community, so
I
it
did
was
too.
like okay, I didn't know like how, and I was like even ashamed of it. Like when I was talking to my therapist the other day, I'm like I don't know why it's so shameful to say that I was hurt from people that I haven't met in online, like in real life, but it
Yeah.
was a community
Yeah.
where I felt a sense of belonging and all of this. And she was saying, because you were a community, even if it's online, you were
Mhm.
interacting with people. So she explained all the dynamics. But it's hard to
Well, the
understand when
thing
you
is
explain to
is
someone,
sometimes we talk to these online communities more than we talk to our, like, in real life
yeah,
communities. I mean, I live next door to my daughter, our oldest daughter, and, I mean, I talk to her most days, but not all days. But there are people in our communities that I talk to every single day, multiple times a day, so I talk to them
yeah,
more than I talk to my own family sometimes, and so, yeah, if something goes bad, it hurts, and I
yeah,
think
because
that you have
you've
to understand
invested
that
things.
it's okay to hurt, and,
Yeah,
like I said, it's okay to talk about it, and it's okay if you need to journal about it or you need to talk to a therapist about it, and, it is okay. We've got to stop this thing where it's like that it's not okay. I see people that talk about it as if it's not okay to feel actual hurt over online relationships. It is absolutely okay to
yeah.
be hurt.
Me in my case it was like okay, I wasted a lot of money, I wasted a lot of time. I'm like with someone that I truly thought I was helping, not just one but two people that I thought I was like
Mhm.
helping. I thought I had a real connection in one of those communities, like or several real connections, and then it's like okay, I thought I had a friendship and maybe it's just an online, it's not, but it's not no different when meeting someone at the park for example and you talk to them like you don't
Mhm.
get to see them physically, and it's a little bit different because you don't get the first sense impression like the first impression. Still you get to know them in in other ways that they are not afraid to share with you when they're online. Yes, they can hide themselves better online, but I don't see it a lot different from when you meet someone in person.
I
So
don't
you get
either.
a
I
connection
really don't.
again, like with them. So I don't think so. For me, it was shameful because people tend to judge, like, how you're so pathetic. Like you had an online relationship with someone, like a friendship, and now you're grieving because you don't talk to them. Well, I shared a lot with this person. I spent a lot of time talking to them.
Absolutely.
Like it's not that yeah. So for me, it was a friendship that I lost. So
Mhm.
I'm allowed to grieve that because for me it was
Absolutely.
real. Maybe for them it wasn't, but for me it was real. And
Yeah.
I thought we are
Absolutely.
gonna have a wonderful friendship and then it ended. So that's the pain that I get.
And another thing when we're talking about that is how you said that it was real for you, maybe it wasn't for some other person, but it was for you. And we need to learn to be okay with that. We need to learn. that that's not a flaw in us, that
No.
we're not, like, something wrong with us because we built a relationship maybe one-sided, maybe we were fooled, maybe the other person didn't feel the connection that we felt for whatever their reasons are. Their reasons at this point are not important. What I care about is, like, your reasons, how you feel about things, and that it is okay to feel that way, and just to know that those are real. Those are real feelings, and don't let anybody say, "Oh, well, you don't really know them, it was just online." No. When we're in these communities like we're talking about, these are people we deal with sometimes daily, multiple times a day. Like, for instance, with me and my mod, one of my mods, Mischief Managed. I talk to her first thing in the mornings, last thing at night, and all day, all night in between, every day. She's one of the first person that I tell when something good happens or when something bad happens. How is that not a real relationship just because I've not actually laid eyes on her in person or been able to reach over and touch her? No,
Yeah, no, I
we have
agree. I
a true
agree.
friendship. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's what
So
we're grieving, that connection in the groups, because we created groups.
absolutely.
It is not also about only the person that is leading the community. It's just like the the people who were around it. I remember I
Mhm.
stayed a long time because I didn't want to lose my friends, because I knew that if I left, I was going to lose them. So I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm not going to be in touch with them. So I'd rather lie that I'm still like loving and caring about this, and this is wonderful. Even I'm not agreeing with him, because I don't want to lose my friends,
Mhm.
until it got too much for me to
Absolutely.
stand up and said, "Oh, you know what, I can stand this. I can stand the manipulation. I can stand this. This is lie. Like, I need to go." But I
Yeah.
didn't want to leave because of my friends there. And I know they weren't going to come with me if I tell them, like, hey, this is happening. And I did. And they didn't left right away. So it's like, okay.
Yeah.
So then I thought I was going to lose them. So that's what happens. So you have to
Yeah, a
read
lot of times it's not just the person, it's not just the creator. Most
it.
of the time, honestly, it's the other people in the community that you're gonna miss the most. But,
And I
everybody thinks it's just that creator, but it's not, it's the whole community.
I
So
lost a lot of people when I left, a lot of people. And one person who was really, really, really close to me, that I thought she was a really, really good friend, and she just started saying horrible things. And I'm like, okay.
yeah,
So I just
yeah.
warned you because I didn't want you to lose money, because this is a scam. Like I
What you
gave a
need to
lot of money.
remember, and people in this situation need to remember, is that that's not a flaw of yours. You know? You went into the relationship either with the creator or with different members of the community. You went into it honestly and with your heart. And maybe they weren't there for those same reasons. Maybe they weren't there as honest and authentically as you
Yeah.
were. And so we need a lot of people that I talk to blame themselves. They either blame themselves for, they feel stupid for having fallen for it. They feel stupid for having shared too much. They feel stupid
Yeah.
for caring about either the creator or the community. And the thing is I'm sorry, but you should never feel stupid for caring.
No, and that's I think
That's
what
not a
got
flaw.
me or made me feel better, that I was always honest. And I like, w- people can say anything about me and whatever. I really don't care what they say about me. It's just I know that I was honest. I know I never lied. I know when I found it impossible to be there, I left. And
Mhm.
what I when I shared the money, when I shared my time, when I shared everything, it was out of my heart. Like I really wanted to help. So I don't see it as a waste. I just say, okay, I didn't help
Mhm.
the right person. That's not on me. My heart was in the good right place, and maybe I chose like wrongly, but now I know better. Now I'll be more
Absolutely.
like careful on who I share my things with, like my time with, my friendship with. I'll be more mindful
Yeah.
next time. But I don't see it as
Absolutely.
like a problem with me. And I hope people
Yeah.
understand that that's not their fault. They were
Absolutely.
manipulated, like in any community. If you've been manipulated, if you're being lied to, well, don't feel stupid. It's just You
That's the
were
other
there.
person's flaw, not yours.
Exactly. It's not a reflection on
You
you,
went
it's
into
on
it
them.
honest. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Dusty, I pinned the bangs back. He wanted to know where the bangs went. So, yes, Kim, the security whisperer, by leaving, you gain peace of mind. You truly do. It is hard. It is very hard in the beginning. But I do think that after a while, you gain so much peace of mind and perspective that it's worth it. It's worth the pain. And
Yeah, whenever you leave any toxic relationship, I can tell you, like when I left my exes, who abused me for 15 years. Like at the beginning, I didn't know what to do. It was uncomfortable, and then I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
I can breathe now, and I'm okay. I feel
Yeah,
better, and it starts getting better while time passes. I'm like, okay, I'm out of a
absolutely.
toxic dynamic. So I think that's when you start like understanding um, that
Mhm.
you were in a
Well,
very toxic environment.
yeah, I was married 17 years in a very toxic relationship, and he's not even a bad person, but we were not good together, and he's grown to be a better person than he was then. But yeah, I can remember being so scared and afraid to leave and and afraid of losing contact with his family and our shared friends and the life we had and all that. And I think when I'm looking back at it, it is a lot the same with online relationships. You're scared of losing that life that you've built, that community you've built, those shared
Yeah,
friends, and sometimes you do.
yeah,
Sometimes you do. But, after I left, it really didn't take long, and I started building new connections, and I didn't lose all the connections that I thought. I mean, I was still very close to both of his parents until the days that they died, which was one of the reasons I stayed for so long was out of fear of losing them. I'm still close to his family. I still have some of the friends that we shared, some no, but for some that's better. It's a good thing. And it is the same with online relationships. There is a give and take, and if they don't stay with you, if they don't, and I don't mean if they don't leave the community with you. I mean if they don't stay friends with you, if they don't stay in a relationship with you, then that's not a relationship you need. It's
exactly.
it's just as toxic as what you're leaving in the long run, and it's painful.
That's the thing. Like it's that saying that says garbage took itself out. Like one friend, like I know it's been used on the other like cultish things, but it's true. Like you don't need
Yeah,
them. Like they just left.
yeah,
You don't need them. So whatever. Like I'm like you don't want to be with me. You don't. I don't need any closure anymore. Just go. Like
yeah,
thank you. You did a favor. Thank you.
yeah,
So
yeah. That's
yeah,
closure in itself, is just letting them
thank
go. Let them.
you. Thank you.
Yeah, let them. Okay, so we have this one you've kind of already talked about, but I'm gonna go ahead and pop it up because it does make a good point. Jimena question, did you grieve the group you left as it was a big part of your life? Like
Not anymore. I did grieve it at the beginning,
Mhm,
and I didn't grieve. Well, in one of the groups, I grieved a friendship that I thought I had
mhm.
from Michael. That was hard. Um, the I think I grieved more the community, the people that I thought were my friends, the interaction with the people, the dynamics. I felt I was fooled, so I grieved my like, what, how could you be so dumb? Like, how could you just
Yeah,
fall for this? Like, like that was part of my grief. Like, I was angry. But I've processed it, and I think when I knew what was going on, I understood that. I said, okay, who's gonna be with me? Who's gonna stay with me? I'm just gonna stand with my truth because that's what I know. That's the truth, and that helped me stay grounded. But yeah, I grieved a while, like a little while.
mhm.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, I did too, and
the
I wasn't
first
as
couple of
deeply
months was
entrenched in it.
complicated. Yeah,
I, like, I wasn't as deeply entrenched in either of the communities as you were, but I did grieve it, and I would just cry. I mean, because I missed the person, I missed the community, I missed, like, just having somewhere that I thought I belonged, and then to honestly just find out immediately that you're replaceable. You thought that you were this valued member of this community, of this, almost like a team of and then mm,
And that's the
somebody
thing, when
else
someone
just
can
takes your place.
turn their back to you like this fast, just
Yeah.
like they love you one day and the next day they hate you, and they are able to like shame you in front of everyone, and like it's like you didn't even do anything. Like with what happened to me, I was ashamed in
Mhm.
a public platform, very publicly. I'm like, I didn't do anything
Mhm.
to you, and you are like
Mhm.
attacking me. I'm just defending myself, and you coming after me. I'm like, what's going on?
Mhm.
So I grieved that, because it was like, okay, I thought we were friends. I just left quietly. I
Yeah.
didn't say anything, and then suddenly there's this like gossip around that I'm against
Yeah.
someone. Like, this is not even true. I'm just staying in
Yeah,
my
it's not
lane. I'm
true.
doing my thing. And so I was angry. I was, yeah. So it was complicated. At the beginning, it was very hard, like getting to realize what was going on, and like my friends getting hurt, and then trying to be there for my friends, and so yeah, it was hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, because yeah, I
Whenever
did.
I
It
left,
was really part of my life.
whenever I left, I it took me a while. Like, I didn't just make the decision to be gone one day, but I started, like, having weird feelings, and so I started pulling back a little bit. But then I had some people come to me that showed me absolute evidence of everything I was feeling and so much worse, and I didn't tell anybody. That wasn't my stories to tell, but it made it clear to me that I was right, that I and that this was not just my imagination, that other people were being hurt and threatened and destroyed. Whenever I
Yeah,
found out what happened to John, there was absolutely no turning back for me because he's such a good man. He's one of my mods now too. I just absolutely adore him. Um, I couldn't just not I couldn't just pretend that everything was okay just because it was kind of fun. I had my morals, my values, my friendships were all more important to me at that point, and yeah, but so immediately I left, but then I was this horrible person too, that I was out lying about them and everything, and I wasn't saying anything. For a long time, I never said anything, months and months. But I kept my mouth shut. I just wasn't there anymore. And
yeah.
that's
Same happened
toxic,
to me.
guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
If
So
you
that's the
can't be
thing,
in a
that
place without becoming the devil, then you don't wanna be there. You
because if
truly
you're not
don't.
with them, you're against them. So that's cultish. So that's a
Exactly.
toxic group. So that's why it's important to look at the red flags, to see that,
Mhm.
okay, if any like discernment you have with them, it's just going to become conflict, then you're not in the right place. Because then
Exactly.
when you leave, you're going to become the enemy. Now you're going to become a hater. Why?
Mhm.
Like me, I'm not even saying anything. Or I was like, sometimes when they ask me, or in this case you're asking
Yeah.
me, okay, I'm going to respond. I'm not going to lie. But it's um I'm not going creating content or creating things like all the time, and like
Mhm.
posts and blogs, and like, no, it's just I said my truth. I said my piece. You can watch it if you
Mhm.
want. This is what I said. If you ask me right now, I'm going to tell you. But I'm not going after you. Like, and then
Yeah.
suddenly I'm a hater, and no, they're hating me, and no, I'm not. Really, I'm not. Like,
Yeah.
it's just anyway.
I
But
think we
yeah,
think about them a lot less than they think that we think about them. Like, I don't think about these places nearly as much as they think I do. Like, not anymore.
I truly know. I don't like, I like right now because we're talking about them. But
Oh,
like in
yeah,
my
we're talking
life, I said my piece, and for me that was my closure. And so when people ask me, of course I respond, but it's not that something that I don't go like. At the beginning, I used to go to Reddit. I didn't even know there was drama. Like, I learned today that there's
Yeah.
something going on right now. So I don't go to Reddit anymore. I don't see, like, I really don't care anymore.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
I told them that day, I'm not going to give you my energy anymore. So
Mhm.
and I've kept um, my promise. That's for me, not for them. Like, I don't care about them. It's just
Absolutely.
my peace. I want it intact. So yeah.
And I want everybody to understand that these are not the only 2 toxic environments out there, and sometimes it's not the creator all the time. Sometimes it can be individual people in the community. And I've been experiencing a little bit of that within a couple of communities, and I won't go into a lot of details, but I do wanna just say a couple little things that kind of, talk about what I'm talking about. Like, in one community that I'm in, I'm not gonna name names, but, it's I follow a lot of people that are suffering with cancer just because I feel a kinship with them. And so I don't follow a ton of them, but I do follow there's like 3 or 4 channels that, these are cancer survivors or sometimes they don't survive, which is heartbreaking. In one specific channel, this is what is so funny because it's actually 2 channels, 2 different completely different situations. Both situations, the young married couple, the woman dies and the husband is left to raise the children. And in one situation, the husband has before a year, and I'm not judging, I'm just telling the facts because I don't really have an opinion on it. But within a year, the husband has moved on, has a completely new relationship. They've moved in together. They're, co-parenting their kids. She lost her husband, this whole situation. Oh my gosh. A lot of the people in the community have left the community because they feel that he's terrible for having moved on. And they were like being toxic to anybody that stayed in the community, saying, "How can you stay there and support him when he's just forgotten her within a year? He's moved on and, he's forgotten her." Now, the other guy, right? They're about the same age. Their kids are about the same age, close anyway. The other guy, it's now been, I don't know, over 2 years, going on 3 years. He's yet to move on. He is still grieving very intensely. The first guy is still grieving too, but he has moved on in life. Second guy, still grieving intensely, absolutely does not seem to be any closer to being able to move on yet, is focusing strictly on his children and his grief process. And he is being attacked for not moving on, which I find so funny that they're in so much of the same situation, but they're both hated for how they handle a situation.
And that's
So
easy
I
when
think
we're
that's toxic communities, and that's not the creator that's toxic, that's the community.
no, but that's people who hide behind like your keyboard. You're not facing the person, and
Mhm.
I don't know. It's just more a reflection on the people who is doing the comments than the
I
actual
think so
person who's
too.
like. I think it's very sad, at least for me. It's like if you're going to be able to judge someone like that harshly, maybe
Mhm.
stand in their shoes for a little while and see. You haven't gone through that
Absolutely.
loss. You haven't gone through that type of loss. You haven't gone through a type of companionship. Like, for example, the first person in the community you're saying moved
Mhm.
on. Maybe he found a companion there. They felt alone.
Absolutely.
They like that's nothing wrong with that. It's like it doesn't mean that he didn't love the ex-wife. It doesn't mean it's just the process
Absolutely.
of grieving. He managed it his way, and that's his process. You're no one to
Mhm.
like. You can't go judging how people grieve or process
Mhm.
their losses. It's not. That's not healthy. And like you standing
No.
there just attacking and judging how other people should live, like you're not living their lives. You don't know what's going behind the screen, and that's what I see. Like I've got
Exactly.
a lot of hate lately in my community from people that were my friends. They were judging me and they're telling me things and horrible things. People that I thought that were my friends, for example. Like you're not walking my shoes. How are you coming to
Mhm.
judge what I'm doing and how I'm grieving or how I'm processing? So just stay on your lane. So I think
Exactly.
that's when, as a creator, at least we should also be protecting ourselves from the energies from the community
Absolutely.
because it's not only us that can be toxic; it can be also the people in the chat who can be toxic.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
that's
That
where
was
we
my
need to be
point with those.
careful. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. How we manage our chats and all, because we don't like that's when we need to be respectful and allow certain
Mhm.
things. And like there's yeah, so it's complicated to navigate, and especially when the
It
community
is
starts growing
complicated.
up, it's complicated. And you won't be able to please everybody.
Mhm.
So you can please everybody. So if people don't like it, well, I'm
Mhm.
sorry. People for in my case they start like getting confused from me being spiritual from and kind to saying I'm going to accept everything they're going to tell me and I'm going to just be quiet and not say anything. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So
I get
like
that
don't
too
confuse
because of
spirituality with being just taking everything
yeah.
and not saying anything and just being quiet. No, I'm not going to do that.
Mm.
So
I get
yeah.
that too with people because of my being a Christian, they're like, "I can't believe somebody who says they're a Christian would, talk about this or would act this way or would do this or that or, or whatever it is." And I'm like, I just because I'm a Christian doesn't mean that I don't still have issues with things, that I still don't care about things, that I still, I always say I'm saved, not soft, I'm still
Yeah.
gonna take up for my friends. I'm still gonna, I'm still the same person I was. We're not suddenly this, I don't know, mythical creature because we're either spiritual or Christian or whatever we call ourselves, we're just still people. And it is just
Yeah.
crazy, or that I'm a cancer survivor, so how can you see the bad in people whenever you're a cancer survivor? You should be looking for the good. I'm like, "Well, I'm not blind," I see what I see.
Yeah.
So,
And that's
and that's
also like you
toxicity
should
in the
forgive
communities.
people. Yeah, and that's for example me, like you should forgive people. Of course I can forgive
Mhm.
people, but forgiving
Yes,
people doesn't mean that I'm going to allow them back in my life. If I allow you
absolutely.
back in my life, it's because yeah, I love you, whatever. But it's if you did actual harm, I can forgive you. I can let you go. You're forgiven. I'm not going to dwell on that
Mhm.
pain that you caused because of me. But that doesn't give you like it's not a revolving door. You don't get to come back and then
And do it
have a
again.
second chance to hurt me again. So no. So it's like okay, I can forgive you,
Yeah.
but stay there, and leave me alone. And I don't
It's
want to
kind of
know
that,
you.
fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me kind of a situation,
Exactly.
that,
Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly.
we have to protect ourselves and we might forgive them and wish them all the success in the world. But that doesn't mean that we have to forget, that we
Yeah.
have
Exactly.
to like that we have to just be like, "Oh, that never happened." No, that happened. And so, yeah, but I did want to absolutely bring in that it's not just toxicity, oh, I can't say the word toxicity about creators. It can also be the community or members of the community. Not the entire community. If the entire community is toxic, there's a problem. But, it
Yes.
can just be certain people in the community, and we all, even creators, have to guard ourselves from that. And I've taken flack from that, and I took flack for, blocking somebody just recently, and I never thought that I would block them. There's 2 people actually, but the one that I'm the most concerned with was, you know, I don't I wanna be a safe place for victims, but I also have to be a safe place for everybody that's there being a safe place for the victims. And this certain person came in and was just very insulting to me and my entire community, just like, just jumping on everybody, and although I wanted to be that safe place for that person because I do believe in their trauma and that they've been hurt by people in other communities. But I had to say no. I had to not let them come in and hurt, it's I can't let one person hurt 200 people or 2,000 people,
And that's
just
where we need to also be responsible because we are providing a platform, at least in I see that in my
Mhm.
channel. Like I'm providing a platform for people to connect. So my responsibility is to make that a safe space. So I'm not
Yeah.
going to be fighting. I'm not going to be engaging in any battles. Like if you are
Mhm.
respectful, if you like respect beliefs, respect opinions, respect, and we are all there, like having a healthy conversation. You're
Yes.
able to stay, regardless who you are. If you
Mhm.
start attacking people, if you are starting people like making people feel uncomfortable, then we're going to have an issue
Mhm.
and I'm going to call you out. I'm not going to do that because it's
Yeah.
my responsibility as like the provider of the community to
Absolutely.
make this a safe space. That doesn't mean I'm against you. I'll probably won't call you out on like on a live. I'm going to
Yeah.
maybe reach out to you, like have a conversation,
Mhm.
whatever. But if that doesn't happen, then I'm sorry, but I'm not going to let you in if you're going to be
Mhm.
messing with the people, because I'm my responsibility. I'm dealing with people who have a lot of mental health issues, a lot of emotional issues. So I'm not going to be responsible for other people harming the others. So I need to
Mhm.
be very, very mindful on who's
'Cause
there and how I
even
manage the
hurt people
conversations. Yeah,
hurt people. And so, sometimes whenever I've had to, say, "Hey, you need to take a step back," it's for their good too. I want them to take a step back, and maybe they need to heal somewhere else and figure out that it's not okay just because they're hurt to come in and hurt other people. And so, like you said, it's our responsibility as the creator, as the mods. My mods are really good to try to talk to these people if they come in like that. They'll even, privately talk to them and say, "Hey, let's," they'll give
yeah,
timeouts, thinking that maybe that will just like kind of be like, "Okay, that wasn't cool. I need to stop doing that." But yeah, we as creators,
yeah,
we are we're responsible for so many people while we're actually trying to do whatever we're trying to talk about that day too. We've got like a lot of
yeah.
irons in the fire going on and we miss things. That's
But
why we have
also, like,
mods.
I understand, like, hurt people, but that doesn't give
Mhm.
them a pass to be hurting
No,
people
it
like they
doesn't.
want. So as they please. So for me, it's like, okay, I know you're hurting. Go deal with your hurt elsewhere. You don't get to take that
Yeah.
hurt against people, because that's not okay. So I'm a hurt person. I'm not going around hurting people. So
Yeah.
that's like the thing that doesn't give you a pass. So
Yeah.
yeah.
This one's for you. You got a super chat.
Oh, thank you, Tommy. He's awesome.
I'm gonna have to go watch this one. I honestly have not watched it, and I've not actually heard of it, so I'm, like, very
He's
interested. I
from
will
North
be.
Jersey, and he doesn't have an actual topic, but he's
Yeah.
interesting, and he always brings a topic, and he goes every day. No, he doesn't miss a single
Wow.
one, and he goes in the
Wow.
mornings and sometimes in the afternoon, sometimes at night. So yeah, I really enjoy his show. Yeah,
Uh-huh. I'm definitely interested. I will be going over and giving that a look. Oh, yeah, I agree with this too. One becomes a zombie in these types of systems, even family and systems of 3. Absolutely. It can be a family situation, it can be a friend situation, it can be community situations. We just need to be able to give ourselves permission to look for the red flags and the green
mhm,
flags, because sometimes maybe we don't 100% we don't agree with the person. That doesn't mean that's a red flag. It may mean it's a green flag. It may mean that we need to give ourselves permission to stick around and hear a different point of view and
yeah,
grow and learn. So, just because you don't agree 100%, then, that's not necessarily a red flag either. The red flags are when it starts becoming hurtful or toxic or just exhausting. I think we've
yeah.
all been in those communities before where it just becomes exhausting and
It is.
repetitive and all that.
It is.
Oh, this one's sweet. This one's for you. Decorate with us. I've watched your very first video 3 times now, Gen X. Oh, it's for Gen X. Okay. My comment
Yeah.
just keeps disappearing. Sometimes it is an algorithm thing, not algorithm, but it's a YouTube thing. If you said a word that they don't like, or if, you put a link in it, or I don't know, I don't understand. Do you have a lot of trouble with that on your channel too, Jimena?
Sometimes.
I
Yeah.
do too. And I've had that happen where I know that I didn't put anything, I didn't cuss, I didn't put a link, I didn't, any of these things, and and they'll just keep disappearing. And what's really funny is I've had it happen on my channel, and the person will come to me and say, "I keep making comments and they keep disappearing." And then I'll go over and look, and their comment will be on there like 5, 6 times the exact same comment. So
It's a
I don't
glitch of
really get it.
YouTube. So sometimes just be patient and just I
Yeah,
wait. For example, if I put the comment, or sometimes I get a notification that I got a comment from someone, and then I go there and I don't see it. But then after a while,
yeah,
I see it. So it's just, yeah,
yeah.
it's just
YouTube
be patient.
holds comments, randomly holds comments, I
Yeah,
think, and, and then sometimes they come up later. So sometimes if your comment gets, not all the time, because sometimes they just delete them, but a lot of times it's not us. And,
A lot of times.
you know, yeah, but, just give it time because sometimes they'll hold one.
And
What is this
wait,
one? Kelly Williams. Yeah, I'm so sad about the turn that some creators' channels have taken. The one or the one that really hurt was Poe. I really loved being there. There were people there that were my age. We understood each other. I miss everyone. I miss that one too. I don't blame him at all for I don't know if it's gonna be a complete break from YouTube or if it's gonna be like, he's like taking a time out and extended at this point if he's ever coming back. And but I understand he had some pretty toxic stuff that was happening with some horrible
that's
people, and
why
that was
I
very much.
yeah, that's why I took a pause of my channel right now. I've been dealing with a lot of things backstage, and I'm like, "Oh, I don't think I'm gonna. I'm still rethinking if I'm gonna go back or not. I'm like, just
I
it's
hope you do.
people are very toxic, like,
So
and
important.
so yeah. But it's like you have to manage with your personal life, and then you have to go like deal with toxicity like online. I'm like, no, it's just I don't need this. I can't remove myself from this situation. Not on this one, but maybe on this one I can. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's been hard. So yeah, we'll see.
yeah.
I'm still thinking about it. Yeah.
Maybe take a step back a little bit or just not be on as much, like did yeah, you streamed this one to your channel, so that'll be something that's new on there
Yeah.
and gives it a chance for people that aren't being toxic to come in and see you too, because you have a very important channel. I
I
understand 100% your
I
need
think
to
I was gonna do
artist.
the pre-recorded videos and go back to pre-recorded and things like that. So it was
Yeah,
I'm just trying to like rethink how I'm gonna do from
yeah,
now on because it's been a year where I've been getting a lot of backlash from people and like I've received death threats, like you should unalive
yeah,
yourself. You should, like so it doesn't matter at the beginning, but then after you receive that constantly and then people who are close to you are the ones who are using your pain against you, that's when it's getting a little bit
yeah,
hard. So it's just
yeah,
maybe
yeah,
I shouldn't
there
be
is
doing
nothing
this.
wrong with taking a step back, and yeah, do some of those pre-recorded things or something, that's
Yeah.
great. Jin Marie says, "I would like to have a conversation with Susie," just putting that out there. My, email address is sliding across the bottom of the screen. Feel free to contact me. We can just have a
She's
conversation
awesome.
privately, or you can come on if you want. I don't know what conversation you wanna have, but I love conversation, so I am all about it. Here we go. I like to check in with the people. Kim says, "Stand-up comedy is the best." Absolutely.
I
Sometimes
love
you just
stand-up
gotta
comedy.
do that. Yeah, I do too. I do too. I love comedy. I that's my go-to if I'm stressed out or, I don't stress eat, I don't stress shop, I don't stress, a lot of the things that a lot of people do, but I will look for comedy in things.
Oh, I do stress eat and I do a lot. And I do stand-up comedy too. Like I go and watch it. Yeah, I just um yeah.
Yeah. I now I shouldn't say I don't stress eat. I do have to have what we call, my husband and I call, my emergency chocolate. I have to have some kind of chocolate, like, not something Imma have to make, like brownies or a cake, no. I have to have, like, a candy bar, chocolate milk, something that, quick, something I can do very quickly. Has to be in the house for whenever I get stressed out. I might not even eat it or drink it, but if it's not there, I'm in a panic. I'm then as panicked
I
over the
totally
fact
get
that
it.
I don't have it,
I don't have
and
chocolate.
I don't have to I don't always eat it or whatever, but if it's not
But
there,
you know it's
it's
there.
like
It's in your comfort, no? Like
yes.
it's there whenever I'm gonna need it.
Yeah, it's just like,
Yeah.
have you ever, like, you don't wanna go anywhere, you have nothing you wanna do, go, whatever, but if there's a car outside that you can get in and go, but if your car's broke down or something, I am a nervous wreck. because what if I need to go somewhere? There is no place I need to go. There's no place I wanna go. But if I
No,
don't
but it's
have a
just in
way that
case.
I could go, yeah, just in case. Yes.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I have my I have like a bag of things that I use just in
Yeah.
case. I get that
Lord
feeling.
Lord Kiss Freak says, "I was on the lifeboat for 4 years before I left. The grief is real." Absolutely.
That's where I met him.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Oh, goodness. Trying to see who else is down here.
The chat is very being very active.
Yeah, they are. If you see something, bring it up. Dusty says he still talks to Poe often. That's cool.
Oh, that's nice.
I miss Sir Crepidus too. I That was somebody that I used to like to talk to was Sir Crepidus. I miss them both.
I saw there was a question, right?
Mhm. Yeah. If you see something, for sure put it up.
Yeah, it was a question. I think it was hard questions. Oh no, I already saw that one. I don't know. I don't know where I left it. Wait, the audio disconnected.
Tommy Stig says small or manageable groups are the best. When the group is too big, you lose the connection to people. I agree. I agree. I want my channel to grow, but I'm still under 2,000 and I'm absolutely happy with it because I mean, clearly I don't have a relationship with all, 2,000 people that are subbed or almost 2,000 people, but I have a lot of the same people that come in every day and I do feel a connection with them. And I fear that if I got to some of the big channels, and I don't, this is not against them at all, but like the channels that have, 100, 200,000 subs, I know that they still have, relationships with a small group of people, but I always think about that larger group that's not getting that interaction and not getting that, that connection. And that always just makes me sad for some reason. And the same with people that have, 20 or 25,000 people. So, you know, I,
Yeah, I'm also under 2000. Like I just crossed the barrier of 1000, and
Mhm.
I like that I know everyone in the chat. I like that I get to
Yeah.
remember what they talk about, that I get to remember. I do my oracle cards and I remember what
Yeah.
they got yesterday, so I can actually make a connection after what I read to the next day. So it's really cool. And
Oh,
it's not
yeah.
that I don't want my channel to grow. I do want it to grow, but I fear that I will lose this connection that I get with the people that go to the chat and remembering everyone. So we'll see. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I like it. I like the smaller channels. I like to go to the smaller channels, and I like to have a smaller channel. I just think that the connection is there, and I think that like, people I don't know. I think that we're all so busy that sometimes it is going to be online connections that we make because, sometimes it's that we can talk to these people on our off time, like as a community. I'm not talking about the creator. I'm talking about the community. And there are channels that go live like Cricket. She goes live at like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. That is amazing for the people that can't sleep or on different time zones and everything that they can be there for that. I just think that YouTube can have something for everybody, and I don't know. I just think that it's amazing. We just have to just try not to fall into those toxicities. So, well, guys, I think that's gonna be about it for today, if that's okay with Jimena. I usually try to stay about an hour, and we're going close to
It,
an hour and a half
I
at this
thought
point.
we're 1.5, but I really think I think it's very good, and maybe we should pick up this conversation some like another time.
I
I
think
think we
so
could help
too.
people, like not for the communities we come from, but I wanted to make this a broader thing, like people actually understand what's going on, so they protect their energy because it's important for us to be in
Yeah.
healthy spaces.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think that this conversation has actually opened up a lot of different conversations that can come off of it, kind of, sub conversations, and I would love that if we can very soon
sure.
actually come on together and
Whenever
talk about all the other deals. Yeah, let me know when you're not busy, and if nothing else, we'll definitely plan for something even next week. Maybe this could be like a little weekly thing that we kind of go off of
we can
and talk
do,
about
yeah,
this kind of stuff. I think I would love
I
to do
agree.
that.
Of
So,
course,
well,
yeah.
I'm gonna
Just
go
tell
ahead and
me.
go, and I'm gonna, let Jimena backstage, and if she wants to say something to her people or however, I don't know how all this works. I'm not good at it. You'll figure out, guys, if you're new to my channel, that I really don't know how a lot of things work yet. So
Yeah, I
I'm
just
stumbling.
just want to say
But
to everyone, like, thank you for being here and for letting us like talk about this, and just if
yeah.
you can, just spread the word. I think this can be
Yeah.
useful for other people. If you know someone who
Mhm.
might find this information useful, share it. And if you haven't
Yeah.
done so, hit the like, share, and leave a
Yeah,
comment after the
please
show.
do hit the likes and subscribes. Go look at some of the other channels that my mods have put up, and just share. And if you have things that you would like to see us discuss, get with Jimena or myself or whatever and tell us, because we don't know what everybody else is thinking. We s- if she's anything like me, and I think she is, we're constantly kind of searching our brains trying to figure what everybody else wants to talk about. And so, but I think this is a subject that could go on and on and on, and not just repeating the same thing we've said. I think it's got a lot of layers that we could talk about.
Mhm.
And so I think it'd be great to just kind of come on every week.
I agree. Yeah, let's talk about it offline, and yes,
Okay.
sure we
We'll
can find
talk
something.
about it.
Yeah,
All right. Well,
thank
guys, we're
you.
gonna go. Thank you so much for being here. We are thrilled to have you here, and we will see you all soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.